Konnichiwa, artists. That means hello in Japanese. Let's go ahead and grab our clay or dough. You can see I have a couple different ones here that I had at the school. I'm going to go ahead and work with the modeling clay. So what we're going to do is we're going to first knead our dough. It's probably going to be pretty hard once we're first working with it. And again, it depends what kind you are using. But go ahead, swish it through your fingers and make sure you make it nice and soft, because we're going to go ahead and really need to make sure that we can form it into some different shapes. One thing I want to go ahead and note here is that I am using white clay. So if you are using colored clay, all right, you could go ahead and for these steps that we do, you could be using your colors already. If you're using white like I am, don't worry, I'm going to talk to you about painting these towards the end of this video. Now with the modeling clay that I'm using here, I am going to use a little bit of water with it, which is kind of typically what you would do with the clay that you would use inside my classroom. That helps for when you get some cracks in it. Now I'm going to have it help me for that to also make it a little bit easier to move with my hands. But here's what I need to do. I need to roll it into a ball. Once I have it into a ball, I need to go ahead and take my thumb and push it right down in the center. If you remember this process from maybe a couple years ago or so, we're making pinch pots. So what you're going to do is once your thumb is in there, you're going to pinch all around from the middle to the sides and go ahead, turn it from a ball into a pot. Now later you might decide that you want to open it up a little bit more, but that's okay. I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna smooth out some of my edges, and then I'm gonna put it off to the side. I'm gonna grab some of my extra clay and we're gonna talk about making our koi fish. So in order to make my koi fish, what I'm going to do is grab some of that little extra clay and I'm going to roll it with my fingers on a flat surface to create a coil. All right, maybe you've made a coil pot before too. So now what you're going to do with that coil, all right, is you're going to go down to one side of it, okay? And I want you to pinch one side and then pinch the other. Yes, we are indeed making the back tail fins for our koi fish. So once you've pinched one side and the other, you can go ahead, maybe you need to pinch a little bit more. You should have it split into two now. One goes to the right, one goes to the left. Now what you can also do once you've made your tail fin is you can pinch just below where you have your two fins, one on the right, one on the left, and just pinch it in a teeny tiny little bit. We're gonna help give it some shape. Okay, now let's go ahead and grab some more extra clay again, roll some small coils, and we're gonna talk about making fins. So with those small coils, you can add two on each side. Remember we did that in our drawing. And you can also add one on top. All right, so once we have about 3 fins on our koi fish, we're gonna go ahead, grab another piece of clay, roll it into a ball. And then what I want you to do is take your thumb and push it down. So we're kind of making a little bit of a slab. We're making it go a little bit more flat, all right? And then what we can do is, again, make a little bit of a triangle. So we're gonna pinch in on one side, pinch in on the other. This is gonna be our lily pad. All right, friends, no, you are not imagining things. Yes, that is Miss G's new kitten, Clementine, who decided she wanted to come help us with our Japanese koi ponds. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and now grab back my pinch pot. I decided that I wanted to open it up a little bit because I realized my fish might have been a little bit too big for it. No worries. So I'm going to take my pot, and again, I'm smoothing out some of my cracks. Widen it just by pinching in from the center to the sides. All right, going all the way around. And there you go. I'm really liking how my pinch pot's looking. So now I'm gonna take my koi fish and I'm gonna take my lily pad. I'm gonna put them inside, all right, of my pond. And then, from my drawing that I did last week, what am I missing? Oh, that's right. I need to go ahead and start to think about putting rocks on top. So I could take, again, some extra clay that I have, roll them into balls, and put them all along the top, all right, of my pinch pot. Or what I could also do is maybe draw with a toothpick or with some other tool. Maybe I could draw them on the sides. You can even take some of your extra clay and maybe flatten it along the sides of your pot to give it kind of that rocky feel. All right, go ahead, take some time right now. I'm going to go ahead and put mine all along the top, but it is your choice how you would like to create your Japanese koi fish pond. Okay, remember how I said earlier about adding some color if you're using white clay like I am? We're gonna go ahead and talk about that now. So I'm gonna be using here some tempera cake paint, but you could use ultimately whatever you have. Maybe you have watercolors, maybe you have some acrylic paint, whatever you have, that's totally okay to use. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with my koi fish. Now remember when we looked at some pictures of koi fish, they can be a variety, right? Many different types of colors. I'm gonna work with some orange here, but I'm gonna leave some white spots and later I'm gonna add some black because I really liked how those koi fish looked. I thought they were pretty cool. Then I'm gonna grab some green, and with the green, I'm gonna paint my lily pad. Now I could even choose, I'm using a light green, but perhaps I wanted to kind of show the different sections of a lily pad. I could also add in some dark green and maybe add a little bit of those triangular spots. Awesome. Now let's talk about the inside. So typically when we think about drawing water, we want to think about using the color blue. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to fill in the inside of my pinch pot with blue. Do I want to fill in the outside with blue? No, because again, we're creating a koi fish pond, and so we want to think about the colors we could use for our rocks. So for the rocks of that koi fish pond, what I'm going to want to do is think about using some colors that I might see in rocks. So I could maybe use some light brown, dark brown, all right, and maybe I could even think about adding in some black. So you're gonna see me going ahead and adding that here on mine, but again, it's your choice how you would like to fill in your koi fish pond. But go ahead, make sure you fill in not just the tops, but on the sides too. And I'm all finished. Oh my goodness, would you look at that? It looks just like a Japanese koi pond you'd see out in the wild, don't you think? Okay, so artists, go ahead, make sure you send me a photo once you are done with yours. I cannot wait to see what they look like. And now I'm gonna go ahead and bid you farewell in Japanese. Sayonara, and I will see you guys next time.